The bells of St. Peter's Basilica rang out across a silent Vatican. A shiver swept through newsrooms, churches, and city streets. Pope Francis, the people's pope, was dead. To many, it felt like the end of an era, but to a few, it marked the end of a quiet revolution that had made powerful enemies. Behind the official tributes, whispers began. Was his death natural, or something far more unsettling? Before the white cassock and silver cross, there was Jorge Mario Bergoglio, a sickly boy in Argentina, saved by a desperate prayer and experimental surgery. Raised among the working poor, he cleaned floors in a laboratory, loved tango music, and once fell in love with a girl, almost leaving the seminary for her. Fate, however, had other plans. A man shaped by struggle and simplicity would one day lead the most powerful church in the world, but on his own terms. The 1970s. Argentina plunged into darkness during the brutal Dirty War. As Jesuit provincial, Bergoglio maneuvered through a maze of terror and betrayal. He secretly sheltered priests on the military's kill list, but critics claimed he didn't do enough. Guilt and grief would haunt him forever, shaping his belief that true leadership demands standing with the vulnerable, even at great personal risk. When appointed Archbishop of Buenos Aires, Bergoglio again defied expectations. No luxury car, no grand residence. He lived in a small apartment, took the bus, and visited the slums. To the poor, he was Padre Jorge. To the elite, he was an uncomfortable reminder that the gospel was never meant to be lived in palaces. After Pope Benedict XVI's unprecedented resignation, the conclave searched desperately for stability. When Bergoglio's name rose, many cardinals thought they were choosing a transitional figure, a compromise. Instead, they unleashed a quiet revolutionary. Stepping onto the balcony, Francis wore no lavish cape. He simply bowed and asked the people to pray for him. Pope Francis broke centuries-old traditions overnight. He refused to live in the apostolic palace. He carried his own briefcase. He visited prisons and washed the feet of Muslim women, horrifying traditionalists. His papacy was not about ruling, but about serving. And soon controversy followed. In 2013, a simple phrase shocked the Catholic world. If a person is gay and seeks God and has goodwill, who am I to judge?
Somos todos hijos de Dios.
We are all children of God, he said, and God loves us as we are and for the strength that each one of us has to fight for our dignity. Being homosexual is not a crime. It's not a crime, yes, but it's a sin. But first, let's distinguish sin from crime. But it is also a sin to lack charity with one another. And Francis went on to suggest that being gay is natural, a view unimaginable from any previous pope. Every man and woman must have a window in their life where they can turn their hope and where they can see the dignity of God, Francis said. And being homosexual isn't a crime, it's a human condition. Pope Francis would go on to permit priests to bless same-sex couples in a new papal rule, a seismic change in Vatican policy.
Pope Francis later supported civil unions, stating that same-sex couples deserve legal protection. Yet conservatives raged, accusing him of watering down centuries of teaching. Some even branded him the heretic pope. But Francis stood firm. Love, he insisted, was greater than doctrine. Inside the marble corridors of the Vatican, a silent war brewed. Some high-ranking cardinals whispered of plots to depose him. Anonymous pamphlets attacking his credibility appeared overnight on Roman streets. They despised his reforms, his attacks on financial corruption, his embrace of outcasts. Francis smiled in public, but behind closed doors, he fought for every inch of change. In recent years, Francis' body weakened. Knee surgeries, respiratory infections, and heart problems forced him to rely on wheelchairs. Yet he worked relentlessly, appointing cardinals from Africa, Asia, Latin America, reshaping the Church's future. Those close to him say he whispered in his final months, "We do not belong to ourselves. We belong to the people." Pope Francis changed the Church and the world, not with force, but with gentleness. He preached mercy over judgment. He elevated the poor over princes. He tore down walls and built bridges. In his final act, he reminded humanity that the greatest power lies not in domination, but in compassion. And now the world waits. Will his vision survive him? The humble fisherman from Buenos Aires is gone, but the ripples he left behind will move mountains. The final shocking truth is simple. Pope Francis, by daring to love radically, left a revolution that death itself cannot silence.